Hi, I'm Michael.
And I'm Charisse, and we post weekly videos all about personal branding, your career, and money management.
And we're helping young professionals transform their lives every single day.
That's the Kinley way.
So if you want to get from here to here, make sure you like this video, please put a comment below, and subscribe and press the notification bell.
And if you already knew all of that, welcome back!
Welcome back! Welcome back! I hope you enjoyed my video last week. Did you? I hope you did. I wanted to do a follow-on from that video. We wanted to do a follow-on from that video, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. How to deal with public humiliation in the workplace. And do not expect me to call out anybody by name. Call out any companies by name, right? I'm not trying to get sued. However, I feel like talking about it will help you to understand how I got to where I am today. You know, going through those experiences was a huge molding process. It was a huge learning process, and it really helped me to become the professional I am today. So let's get into it. I refer to company as Company One. Okay. Company One.
Company One.
The first thing that happened was Company One. I joined them quite early on in my career, pretty much immediately after uni. I was going through recruitment, right? I've spoken about this loads of times. I went in there and I did really well. I did my thing, brought the energy, brought the Michael love and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, there were certain moments that I made mistakes. I would say huge mistakes. And
Give an example of mistakes you made.
yo. Okay, so we had a client, and as you know, those of you that work in recruitment or know what recruitment is all about, you have to send candidates to fill the client's roles, right? At the time I was dealing with, it was a big client, very big client. They had an banking IT project that I was helping out with, and I was responsible for sourcing the right resources for that project.
To hire.
Yeah. So I was sourcing the right resources. When I say resources, yeah. The person is a resource. Yeah, sorry, babe. Corporate job. So I was responsible.
I mean, I understand it, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So I think I just sent the wrong people to the client, right? I just didn't. Yeah, it was a mess. I sent the wrong people to the client by accident, and then.
As in, they were for somebody else's client, or they were just not what
they were just not what I should be sending to the client. Yeah, and also I think I'd gotten some information wrong. Anyway, I didn't pay the right attention to detail, and I was called out for it. So this is how I was called out for it. So I remember it was at lunchtime. Imagine the reaction of your dad when you've just been an accomplice to fraud in his account. How would he react? He would freak out, right? So yeah, my manager at the time had a breakdown, like an angry breakdown, and I was just being sworn at in front of like 100 people or 50 people or something.
At lunch?
At lunch, yeah. It was in the afternoon in the office.
You guys
and it's an open plan. Yeah, it's an open plan. Remember, like everyone is on the same flow. Everyone is on the same floor. So I was being shouted at. Like he was shouting, like imagine you're angry, and he was like, I'm a Christian, so I can't swear. But imagine how angry someone can be. Swearing, it was humiliating. It was humiliating because that was kind of like one of my first roles out of uni, and I was just, confidence was just not like, literally confidence was, oh babe, it's okay, it's over now. You know when you sit there and you just feel so horrible, like you feel so bad. I can't describe the feeling, but it's like this voice inside of you that's like reconfirming how terrible you are at your job. Like it was, you know, like when you're sinking, you're sinking, and you're looking at your computer, you're trying to work, but you're hearing everything, and you know that everyone else is hearing everything he's saying about you. So that was one of probably, like, that's not my first public humiliation. And I think I had maybe two. So I had two by just one individual person. I do love him, by the way. Don't get me wrong. He hired me. Until today I have so much respect for him. So like, love the guy. So how did I deal with that? Because that's the vibe. I'm not just here to story time, right? The first thing is always just to calm down. Everything will always die down. And the second thing I did to fix that was just to fix what was broken. The mistake is to undo so I'm allowed to make mistakes, but I have to actually go and undo. There's certain mistakes that you really have to undo. Like there's certain mistakes that you can't let slide because they're critical, right? They're really important mistakes. So this mistake I actually had to undo that day, It took me forever. Well, it didn't take forever, but it took me a while. But those are the two
How did
things.
you undo it?
Stay calm. Well, I'd have to go into the nitty-gritty thing and start mentioning, like, you know, like, there's no need. But yeah, so I had to actually stay calm, not shout back, not storm out, not cry. Right, some people would have cried, guarantee you. I'm strong though.
You're allowed to cry if that's your normal natural bodily reaction to somebody publicly humiliating you. Don't listen to him. We are helping him undo the years of wiring wrong.
You can cry if that is the way you express yourself. Anyway, how I deal with things in scenarios like that: hold it, be calm, don't storm off, don't lash out, don't talk back, and just fix the problem that they are moaning about. And then everything tends to be better after that. It worked, right? It's one way to deal with it. There are other ways to deal with it. You might want to go to HR. You might want to go to your manager's manager. Like there's loads of different ways you can deal with it. But for me, I felt like the most frictionless way for me to deal with that scenario was just to stay calm and just get on with my work and try to undo what I did. If you're having situations like that where things at your workplace are really tense with your manager, you guys don't say good morning to each other, you don't even look at each other, that kind of stuff, it happens, right? But some people face more long-term or chronic, you know, awkwardness with them and their colleagues. And in those kind of situations, you need to address it. You need to go to a room one-to-one when no one's going to hear you, or just take them out for lunch and actually just address it. So Zoom works, or just a phone call.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. The second one happened at the same place, but this time with a different person. So this person was my manager's manager.
So this is the toxic behaviour that they do. This is why I think you should have spoken to the person, because everybody thinks they can walk around and shout at people and cuss off bad.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
It happens.
And now I understand why he was looking at to leave within 3 months.
Yeah. You're not a great culture. So that was the first one. The second one, similar, but my manager's manager, where this one was again in front of everyone. You know, you're not good. Almost like calling me stupid, right? Just telling me how incapable I am, how stupid I am, how, you know, inefficient I am, blah 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 blah. And shortly after that I was fired, right? Because it was becoming so toxic. I felt like, you guys might resonate with this, I felt like I was stepping on eggshells. Every time I walked into work, I felt like I couldn't let my hair down. I don't have any hair, but I couldn't relax. I couldn't be myself. I had to be like constantly like on edge. Like anything I did would be like, it had to be perfect, it had to be good, otherwise I'll get shouted at, and I didn't want that. That is really toxic. That is not the kind of place that you should be looking for a job, or you should ever want to work. So for me,
or you should stay.
Exactly. And for me, I remember those experiences, and those experiences now help me to understand the kind of manager that I want to be, and the kind of environment I'm going to create for people that I hire, or just my colleagues or my friends, like my work colleagues in general. So those were the major lessons for me: staying calm, undoing the mistake and apologizing, but also making sure that you learn from that experience how you don't want to be. I hope that makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. What about the other person, as you were saying, like you said, it could be an ongoing thing where, okay, you've made a mistake and they publicly humiliated you for it, which shouldn't have happened, and now they're still not letting it go, still not letting you prove yourself, still not letting you, you know, live and continue to be a resource.
Correct, yeah.
For good.
Yeah.
What do you do? Like, are you supposed to just let them do
you
what they're
what?
doing?
You know
or
what,
are you
right?
supposed to confront them and be like, your behaviour is disgusting? It's
a challenging one. It's a challenging one, especially because it depends how junior you are in the organisation, how very early on in your career, like, you have any kind of reputation. Like, culture is important, 100%. But I feel like people will be intimidated to confront the person that's shouting at them. Yes. Most of the time, you don't get shouted at by your junior. You get shouted at by someone that's like senior, someone that's looking after you, or supposed to look after you. No, I think this is where we all have to grow some courage, yeah, and just address it and just tell your manager how you're feeling. Just be raw about how you're feeling. Be raw about your emotions, and I think that's the best way to help someone to understand the impact of their behavior on you, the impact of their words on you, etc. Yeah,
because if you accept it, then you internalize it, then eventually you're going to do it, or worse, other people are going to see that it's okay, and then other people will get the same treatment. So if it stops at you, it's likely to stop at other people, and it's likely not to continue within yourself as well. Yeah. So we don't want to continue this culture. We want to nip it in the bud. And okay, it might not work. You might think, oh, let me just let it go for the sake of, you know, keeping the peace or keeping my peace or whatever.
Correct, yeah.
But it's not gonna do good for anyone, not for yourself. As when somebody does a mistake, that's the first thing you want to do, because
Correct.
that's the way that you were reprimanded when you made a mistake, and you're gonna think things can't run like that around here.
Correct.
You need to know that you did wrong,
Yeah.
when that is not the way that it should be done.
Yeah.
So if that happens to you, it is hard. It is like hard. You have to, at least you've experienced it, and it feels like you're experiencing it again by going to speak to the person. But trust me, it's the best way to deal with things. And you don't have to do it in a way that, you know, they did it to you. It doesn't have to be a shouting contest. It just has to be said that, you know, this is how, as Michael said, this is how it made me feel, and show that, you know, you fixed the mistake, or you're trying to fix the mistake, or what would they want you to do in future in order for these things not to happen. Like, have that kind of conversation, because if you let it go and leave it, and you think that the way to fix it, you think the way to not get shouted at again is to be perfect, but that's not what they want at all. Like, they just want a certain way from you, or a certain thing from you, or a certain initiative from you, but you'll never know what it is unless you go to them. And it is, obviously, it's bad on them that they did that to you, but the way that you win is by asking them, okay, so what do you want from me? How can I do this right, you know, in future? How can I avoid this and this? And then they should be able to speak to you. But if they can't, then that's when you make your exit plan. But yeah, don't just let things slide. Not in this day and age. Not in this day and age.
I agree.
It's not
I
okay.
agree. Yeah, I agree. And that really actually segues me in very nicely into the third and fourth and fifth, maybe, public humiliation sessions I had, but this time not with the workplace I was talking about, this time with a new one. And again, this was kind of just one of my managers, super passionate guy. I love him. Yeah, and I just really respect all of them, just simply because of what they've taught me. They really all played a part into where I am today. Anyway, this one was aggressive, like, this one was serious. Like, this one hurt. It hurt. So I remember it was just a random day, and I think that I was on the phone because I'm a salesperson. I was on the phone, but I don't think I was doing what he wanted me to do or saying what he wanted me to say. And I think when I got off the phone, he was just fuming. It was just like really angry, like enraged. He even stormed out to take like a breather kind of thing. It was really bad. Like, it was really, really bad. And then again, this was a public one. This was never like in a room. This was in front of everyone. And you know that once here, everyone's just looking at you over the computer. Is you alright? Is you alright? Like, it's like alright. Because it was a roasting. Like, honestly, it was hard to take at the time. But now that I look back on it, it just built my character. Like,
did he tell you what you did wrong, or what he wanted you to say, or did he just say that was a horrible call? Did he even tell you what he was angry about?
Yeah, they do. They tend to tell you what they're angry about, but it's like, it's done. My problem is when you want to do it publicly.
Yeah.
Like, that is my biggest. I don't mind you roasting me. You might do, but I don't mind you roasting me. But don't do it in front of like 50 people or 100 people, and they can hear you and hear how angry you are and how rubbish I am. Like, that, I lose. First of all, it's like, okay, that doesn't do great for my confidence. And second of all, you're just making me look bad.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like,
do you know what I mean?
You make an example of someone, and then that tarnishes
my reputation. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't say that, oh, the problem. It doesn't solve the issues. It doesn't attack the issue. It attacks the person.
Yeah.
And when you attack the person, even if you think you're making an example of this person so that other people don't make the same mistake, no, you're just. They will make even worse mistakes because they didn't learn the lesson out of it. Nobody saw that. Nobody even knew what you did.
Yeah.
So to punish you in front of everyone, it's like, oh well, now they just be afraid of everything. Yeah,
I agree. And I said it was segueing me to what you said previously, because I'm talking about this. But the thing is, I was still scared. So I didn't initiate the apology afterwards. He did. Because he realized what he said to me and realized it was just inappropriate the way he treated me. So he called me into a room and it was like, okay, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he was just asking me questions. Anyway, long story short, we got over it. But then when he did it again, I don't think this time he apologized. But I can't even remember how I got over that one. I think I was just like...
went and said... You said it segues you in.
Yeah, it said, because remember you were saying how, like, you should always address it, like, if someone, like, treats you like that, you should always go speak to them. I didn't do that, but we still had a conversation about how awkward and terrible that was. Because he felt bad that he had spoken to me that way. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think I just look like someone that you can swear at a lot. So, that was just a lot of swearing. And remember, like, it's aggressive. When you mix swearing and anger together, it sounds really, really bad. So, those were kind of, like, the two times... 3 or 4, because I have 2 in my that first one I was describing, but this was one that was also like 2 or 3, so it was almost like 5. But I would say, yeah, more like 4.
So they just kept doing it. Oh.
Yeah, they kept doing it. And maybe this is the thing, like sometimes until you really get to know your manager and know like who you're reporting to, sometimes this is maybe the way they feel. Because people have this sick idea that, oh, if they shout at you, like, you know, like they'll give you a kick up the backside and like you do better. They don't actually understand the mental and like confidence impact it has on you. So sometimes
you need to take me seriously, don't do it ever again, or like this is a serious thing. But as I said, like attacking the person and not attacking the situation doesn't make me take the situation seriously. It just makes me feel like I'm worthless.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, it was hard.
I can't do my job.
And that's exactly how I felt. So my key learnings from that was what Cherie said earlier, which is just addressing the issue, going down, speaking to the person, helping them to understand how you feel, what they said, how it made you feel, so that they don't do that again. And of course, if they do it again, you go and address it again. But then again, for me, I was just like I was super easy to work with. Like I never like really stepped on anyone's toes in a way. Like,
so do you feel like they felt like you were a pushover?
Maybe.
And you could just be taken advantage of?
Maybe, but I wouldn't say they tried to take advantage of me, but I just felt like they knew I would take it and they knew I wouldn't like come back at them, if you get what I mean.
That's being taken advantage of.
I don't call it being taken advantage of, I just call it being compliant. By the way,
that's being a pushover. Right? Doormat. You don't need a trash bin. You're not that.
Well, you can avoid everything I went through by just choosing the kind of company you work for, right? Speaking to people that work in that company, finding out what the culture is like, and you can avoid all that toxicity. There we go. My words, man. Today. So she said it. So yeah, guys. Yeah. So again, I just want to share this experience with you because I know you go through them, and I just want to let you know I go through them too. And for me, instead of like hit my confidence and beat me up, allow these situations to beat me up, I really just allowed myself to learn from them and to actually improve and get better.
Employee what to do as a manager.
Well, yeah, I mean, I never feel like shouting at someone is the best way to get the best out of them or help them to become more productive. But for me, it was a matter of what do I do with all this like anger and all this swearing? Like, what do I do with it? Am I going to allow it to put me down? Like, what do I do with all this shouting at me? And really, I just upped my game every single time, and I just became the kind of employee that they wanted around. So yeah, that's kind of like my.
You changed to become the employee that they wanted around.
But you don't. I'm saying this because I know some of you go through this. Like, you are the one changing. You're not demanding for the people putting you in that position to change. So what we're saying is you should demand for your manager to change. Like, you should question, you should challenge, you should address to higher ups, authorities of your manager, etc. If your manager is giving you some kind of abuse, never feel uncomfortable to address it to their manager, because it needs to be handled. Like, you spend 8 hours a day at work, right? You don't want to start work and finish work and you're just going through hell. You don't want to do that. So I dealt with it the way I dealt with it, but it's not the best practice to deal with it. Like,
not now.
Not now. Yeah, not in this day and age. So I would say just report it or challenge the person if you feel uncomfortable reporting it, and that's the best way I would say you should deal with it.
Oh, sorry, when you were saying about making sure that you ask proper questions and research the company that you want to join, so that you don't end up in situations where you're already there and you're becoming the brunt of bullying.
Yeah.
Look on places like Glassdoor, LinkedIn.
That is a good one.
To really find out people who have worked at those companies, the truth about those company cultures. Because you may think that, okay, going into the interview and asking that question, oh, what's the company culture like? They're not going to tell you, oh, it's toxic, like the manager shouts at you. They're not going to tell you that. So you have to be smart about how you're finding out, because these things are so serious, and it's like, we're really trying to nip it in the bud. Like, I don't know if you follow any other career coaches or career advice out there on TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn, wherever, but it's really a thing that we're trying to crack down on in the corporate world, that, this kind of behavior doesn't be running for any more time than it has. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's been far too long. We've had so many different people's stories that we've heard, not just Michael's, and some people will never hear their stories, like they're suffering in silence, and that shouldn't be the case. So as I said, go on places like Glassdoor, any other forums, Reddit, you can find, you just research the company. Even if it's not well known, even if you think, oh, it might not be anywhere, just Google it and find out all you need to find out, so that you can protect yourself, so that you can, be better prepared. And then when you get there, as Michael said, use these things to develop you, to have a thicker skin, to become an advocate for somebody else that's gone through situations like that. Because obviously that was quite a few years ago, isn't it? And so Michael's not the same Michael that he was before, that would have just been silent. So you shouldn't feel that you should be that way, even if that's something that you've gone through before. Like, speak to us or speak to someone. Like, don't just suffer in silence, because that can create stuff inside you that you need to address, and you don't want to be continuing that in the rest of your career, because it will stunt your growth, and you need to be able to heal from that and to learn how to deal with that so that you can continue to grow and continue to get to those places and reach your full potential.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you got a lot from it, and I hope you now have a good idea of how to deal with this kind of situation at work. So thank you for being with us once again. We look forward to seeing you very soon. Please leave your comments below if you've had experiences in the workplace that were toxic, that were horrible like mine. Please share below. We'd love to hear your experiences. If you have friends that had experiences that you know of, please share below. We'd love to hear about that. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.
And also join our Career Climbers Collective, because that's where we're going to be able to show you even more techniques to use in the workplace. You're going to hear from other people's stories. That might be a safer place where you can talk about your experiences, and just to something that will benefit you, not just for now but for the long run of like the whole span of your career. We post things about job vacancies and different opportunities out there that you can go for if you're looking at your exit plan and career changing and all of that stuff. Yeah, that's the place for you to be, so come and join. The link will be in the description box.
Fantastic. See you soon. Bye.